Hey, welcome back, guys, to RC Conspiracies late night edition. Hopefully, we have things cleared up. I got on with Cox Cable after I canceled the last one, and after the normal wait time, we were able to get a higher tier of internet. I swear the costs just add up everywhere for this hobby. Anyway, we got, I think, a better connection, so we're going to give this another go, and hopefully, it's going to be a lot better for you guys and not so pixelated. So, yeah, that's the hope. It kind of looks better already pulling up the feed. So we're starting a little bit before the 11:15 hour, but at 11:15 we'll start the actual countdown. And anybody watching this at a later point, I will, of course, put the time code of when the actual talking starts, when it begins. So we're going to do this again. Let's do it. Hey, MC Rad, how's it going? RC Makes channel.
Shady silhouetted images and industry teasers are finding their way into our homes and invading our minds. Their calculated information is delivered to feed our addiction for radio-controlled frequencies. It's an RC conspiracy. But we are on your side, cracking the RC code. Because the truth is out there. Welcome to the RC Conspiracies podcast. Get your decoder rings ready. And put on those tinfoil hats, because your fearless leader is here. Please welcome your host, the lead RC conspiracist, Tony CC. Tony CC. Welcome to the RC Conspiracies podcast.
Hey, welcome to round two, guys. For those of you watching later that didn't see what happened, it was everything that could go wrong was going wrong with the stream, and we just decided to end it. And I was going to leave it done, except I ended up getting on the phone with Cox Cable and was able to get the internet here upgraded, and now I have much better upload speeds. For some reason, I was paying for like 150 megabit per second download, 10 up, and I was only getting like 2 to 3 up tonight for some reason. I've never had it that low before, so now I'm paying, I think, for 300 down and 30 up, and I'm sitting at about 12 up, which is not great considering I'm supposed to have 30, but we're just going to go for it, you know? It's Tuesday night, and there's supposed to be an RC conspiracy, and honestly, guys, I'm not going to lie to you, I do have an RC conspiracy in my house. I'm part of the conspiracy right now, and I have something really cool in my possession that I can't talk about. I'm that shady silhouetted image. So hey, how's it going, Pilot Ryan Media? Thanks for joining back in. It's been a tough 3 weeks with this. Having my computer crash the first 2 weeks or the last 2 weeks. Big time crash with, well, the past two with Fresh Squeezed and with CCxRC. But with CCxRC, it was really bad. So, you know, it's the struggle of live. We'll just say that. Pilot Ryan saying he got kicked out of his 3 times on Saturday. I was in there when it all ended. And, yeah, so it happens. It does happen. But we wanted to get a better connection. It was pretty terrible, and it wasn't really worth continuing on. And so we have that now. So we're going to go ahead, and I want to talk about a couple of the things, guys. It's open book tonight. We can talk about the streaming setup, which I don't blame the streaming setup for what's happened the past couple of nights. I blame the internet, software stuff like the StreamYard, whatever, Google, Chrome. The setup is actually really slick. I used it all the time, and for whatever reason, my personal ones have crashed, and none of the other ones I've done have crashed. So I don't know what. Same computer, same setup. I don't know. Anyway, but hey, how's it going, Scottzilla? Hey, Honey Walnut RC. Hey, guys, you should check out his page if you have not seen it, because he has something really, really cool going on. He's taking a clodbuster and taking he's made a plate and he's putting under an SMT-10 chassis. Now, people put clodbuster axles under a whole bunch of different kinds of trucks that are custom built to be like clod racers. Not many people. This is actually the first time I've seen it where they've used the actual ladder frame style arms trailing, or the forelink from the clod. Normally, that's the change out, is you do all these other adaptations to do normal forelink, and he's using the stock ones, which makes it kind of fall into a retro-ish classification. But really cool stuff. Wanted to make sure that I pointed that out. Hey, how's it going, Jesse Lee? So yeah, so there's a couple things that we'll get through that are normal things that I talk about, that we go over quite a bit on here. And first one is the channel, guys. Lots of cool stuff's been popping up here. Most of it's going to be backyard track related. We've gone and I've really put a lot of time and money into the backyard track to make it so I can make better videos for you guys. Easily just walk out back, and we've got some big jumps. We've got just a proving ground, basically, for testing RC cars. So we started with the Raminator. That's kind of what it was built for, is the big trucks. To have basically what I wanted was like a 5th scale monster truck, monster jam style jumps in the backyard. That's kind of what we went for. But now we're testing out all the other cars you guys are asking. You've been asking, where is the Tenacity DB Pro? Well, I haven't had a place to take it and do something different with it to show you guys that car until now. Same with the Mad Van. I've been running it, you've seen it before. I've done the videos already, so it wasn't something I thought was worthy or that you guys would even want to see. So we do have new footage of those things now for you guys to check out. The Mad Van actually looked really cool out here. It looks super tiny on the jumps, but it's almost perfect speed and power to go through and land these jumps perfectly, like backside them and all that, So it's really fun to run out there. The DB Pro, well, that thing it kills it. I'm not going to lie. It's an amazing vehicle, and one of my favorite. It was my favorite RC on the channel last year, and it's still just one of my favorites to run. It's like running a buggy, but also kind of a short course truck in a way. It doesn't parachute like a short course does, but you have so much control. It's really tough. I love it. So, here's a nice slow-mo of it. Locking it up. Some people are saying it's landing on throttle. A lot of times I'll hit the brake and then I'll re-engage the throttle and blip it, but I always try to be off it when I hit the ground. Every once in a while, if it's really sketchy looking for going into landing, I might throw the throttle on a little longer than I mean to, but typically I'm off throttle when I land. Just saves a whole lot of things with the car. And actually, it's almost better to let your car just wreck than try and pull it out and land too hard on throttle. So, yeah. So, that's a couple things that are happening on the channel. So be looking for that. I've got a Crate 8S one, and I actually have questions for you guys maybe about the my Outcast is giving me fits, but that's a different topic. Guys, if you like the show, like the logos, whatever, I have some merchandise available. It helps out the show. It helps cover some of the costs of operating. Like I said, I just now upped my internet another $20 a month so I can handle these live streams a little bit better. We pay yearly for 2 podcast streams, and the costs of doing a business are there, just like any other business. It's just that this is not a huge money-making venture. This is just something we do for fun and to bring you guys content and information about RC cars when we can. And so that's available if you guys are interested. It's right there on the store button on the YouTube page. You don't have to buy anything. I just like to let people know that it is available. It does help, as well as links down below. Kind of, I always am a big fan of supporting your local hobby shops. I support my hobby shop, the hobby towns here locally, and I'm a big proponent of that. If you don't have a hobby shop, we do have links down in the description. Those are affiliate links, and they do help out the channel. So it is something that, it goes into helping make all this happen. So Honey Walnut, Doug says, now that's a backyard. Yeah, it was a lot of work. 11 Charlie RC, welcome, man, says his hat came in. Very cool. That's awesome to hear. Hey, how's it going, Ryan Williams? Got some people pulling in from Facebook as well. Jesse Lee has a question here. Says, what do I need to start editing my own videos from my GoPro? Have lots of RC footage from the last couple months. You can edit it right from the GoPro has software that you can download, and you can edit it on a computer or on an iPad or your phone even. You can connect it and you can dump the footage over. I was doing that with my phone for a little while. It fills your phone up pretty fast though, so I prefer to get it over to a computer and onto hard drives. I have several of these style hard drives right here, and these are all stickered up, so I know which ones they are, which one to grab. But yeah, so this is like 4 terabytes right here. A little bit. Doesn't need a power cable. Just plug in the USB and you're good to go. I have probably 15 to 20 of these things floating around with footage on them. Not all RC stuff, but it's just a great way to back stuff up. We used to have tapes. Now we don't. Now we reuse SD cards like crazy, and, we lose stuff. So I would say that. And then editing wise, you need some kind of software, and that's where it depends if you're on PC or what, if you're willing to pay for it. A lot of people don't want to pay for stuff. So there are some free options. I don't think they're as good. But you can get like Adobe Elements, Premiere Elements, and that's much cheaper than the monthly for Adobe Premiere. So, yeah, that's what we got. Hey, Michael Lucre is in the house. Fog City RC and Gigawatts. Oh, there's new comments. It says, RC and Arma Army is thirsty for a new podcast. Are you dropping an episode soon? Yes, I will be dropping an episode soon. I have a lot going on, and I don't know if you guys follow Foundry RC, whose shirt I'm repping right now. Gary's an awesome dude. He'd been out sick for a while. He thinks he might have had the COVID. He's not sure. I guess he had a test and came back negative. If you watched his latest video about his primal dragster losing weight, he talks about it there, and but also talks about the struggle with making videos recently. And I'm having the same kind of ordeal where there's more people at my house. My kids are home. Things are noisier. It's just crazy. And so that's kind of affected a lot that goes on here. Plus, I'm trying to wrap up my second contract job that I have. I'm running 2 of them kind of consecutively. Even though one went part-time with editing, it's still just a mind suck doing any creative work. Even when it's hard to do part-time creative because your brain just always is in go mode, or you have an idea and you just can't let it go. So you always put in more time than you should. So I've just been like slamming, but I do have one coming. I use a Mac. I use Final Cut Pro. A huge fan of it. I can't tell people enough how much faster it is than Premiere to edit in and to export in, and pretty much to do every single process of the edit process in. So I edit on Premiere for work stuff, and even years into it, there's just not ways to even do what Final Cut does that are the time-saving elements, which I could show you guys. But especially for RC videos you can do so fast. I was posting videos every day for a while when I was still working, even full-time job, I'd come home and do it at night and whatever. Well, even when I quit working and I was just doing like some random freelance stuff, but mainly doing RC stuff on Premiere, shooting, importing, editing, exporting, doing all the processes of it, I had a hard time getting stuff up daily. It's the workflow isn't there unless I'm doing really big projects that involve Photoshop, After Effects, things like that, where I need to make changes in one and have it automatically update in Premiere. Then I find that it's better. But for short stuff, news, and quick turnaround, I mean, I'm literally plugging in my stuff into Final Cut. It's seeing it and importing it, and it's allowing me to edit it. While it's putting it into place, it just pauses the import. I'm editing. It's reading it from the card, whatever. I'm putting it into the timeline. I've actually finished editing before it's finished importing before, because it stops. With Premiere, you have to put it all somewhere. Then you got to go through an import, get it in the bin. It's just, anyway, I don't want to get in. It's a whole different, you get my video side out there, and that can get a little crazy. But it's, the overlay, dropping things onto layers and not covering over, or accidentally overwriting a whole bunch of your stuff because your playhead was in the wrong spot in Premiere, and you're dumping using key commands, and it's so frustrating. All right, well, Gigawatt, I'm glad that you like the show. Definitely, we're going to keep it up. It's always good to hear that people like the podcast. We're going to start implementing these RC Conspiracies. I haven't uploaded the last few as podcasts. We're going to get them going again. But once you miss one, you don't want them to be out of order. And so now I feel like I have to upload daily some of them in order to get them up in the right order. But that's my own fault because I fell behind with some work stuff. Hey, Razor RC is in the house. Says Final Cut Pro is on his to-do list. It's really slick, especially if you come from an iMovie background or things like that. If you come from something else, it's a little tricky. But once you get it, man, it's hard to leave it. It's hard to leave it. So, so back to what we're talking about over here. Here's some of the stuff on YouTube that pops up in my feed, so you guys see what I see when I jump in. It jumps all over. Got RC Guy Garage, who I need to have him on here sometime to talk about his COVID and coffee in the mornings. He does a live stream every morning, and it's entertaining and good guy. Been talking a lot about the no prep, the DR10, and all the things that he's doing for it. And so really, really enjoying that. So if you haven't checked him out, definitely check him out, and Earl Moorhead. Both of them are doing really, really awesome stuff with their drag cars. The True Boys guys, Gap, Coach D, them, they've got their show that they do, which is consecutively with mine, and I jump in there a lot of times after mine is off. But they also do it on Sunday nights or Friday nights or whenever they can get in some of the people that they interview. It's been really good. Lots of stuff going on there. So definitely check them out. Music stuff's been weird because I've been listening to a lot of Rancid, Tim Armstrong, Tim Time Bomb. So I'm getting a lot of weird other stuff like the Bosstones. That's so old school. But yeah, so this is kind of stuff I like. Red Beard's Garage. What a cool dude he is. Finally up in his game, moving into a big garage studio type thing for his, they do a lot of small motor stuff, go-karts, mini bikes. I got into it because of mini bikes for my kids. And yeah, so metal music fan. I do like metal. Frog Leap Studios. I love his metal covers of just anything. It's always awesome. So I'm not a huge metal fan. I've got my few bands that I like. Went and saw a metal band in who was it? Verbolten or something when we were in England. And we ended up in a rock and roll bar, and they had a metal band playing. It was pretty awesome, actually. I'm not gonna lie, it was a really cool experience. But lots of punk rock stuff. No Effects here showing up. MXPX. They're probably my favorite band from high school. Toss up between them, maybe Lagwagon. A couple of those different things. So, yeah. Harley, great stuff. Harley Designs, you guys all know who that is, I'm sure. But anyway, this is the kind of stuff I see. I get a pretty random feed. I like it that way. I can always jump over and hit my subscriptions and see what people are doing. So, but getting on to the conspiracy stuff, the one thing that I've noticed that hasn't been talked about yet is right here in this picture, and that is the tires on this King Sling body back here. Those are 2.2 tires with a chevron pattern that you guys can't see. But if you watch the video about J Concept's new stuff, their Junior Mortician and their 1987 Grand National Buick, you'll see this in the background with chevron 2.2s on these trucks. One of them looks like mud tires more. They look like they might have different tread patterns. But that definitely caught my eye. And that is something that I really, really want, is a chevron pattern 2.2. I used to buy the Pro Line ones. I'm not a fan of the Midwest Ranger tires that J Concepts has. I don't like the tread pattern. They're all right tires. I mean, they handle well, but I don't want that look on my monster trucks. So, maybe in your Bigfoots or whatever, that'd be okay. But I want the BKT style. Honey Walnut, what did you just ask? People are just asking, hey, bottom right in the house. I'm missing some stuff. Do I have to go back to my home? Oh, yeah. See, Pilot Ryan's on here. RC Sparks, RC Tanks and Trucks Network. I just put you, we were just showing how to do some YouTube stuff and how to make this page look better when you land, which I'm not showing you guys right now. But I was doing a quick tutorial at the end of one of these, which is why I thought I'd throw it in here. People were asking about their YouTube. And so, yeah, we just put during that time, I stuck RC Guy Garage on here and Pilot Ryan Media in and got rid of my drone page that I don't ever do anymore. The Renegade Rotors. So if that's what you're talking about, bottom right in the house. So yeah. So there's a lot of things that are, really helpful if you guys want, one thing I think that's really helpful is to have a lot of playlists, very specific ones as well that show up in searches, like Primal RC Raminator. So if somebody clicks on one of mine, hopefully they'll start seeing all of them. And yeah, unboxing, stuff like that. I try not to go too crazy. Some people go really nuts, but I have a lot of playlists if you actually go into them. But if we see all of my created playlists, there's quite a few. That wasn't the right button. So yeah, here's all the playlists. They'll just keep loading. But it's helpful as far as getting you views and getting you your stuff into rotation on YouTube. That's a different subject a little bit, but we're willing to talk about anything tonight. It's kind of a freebie night because it is a little bit slow after we talk about these two things, which is what we see here with the 2.2s in this video. But also what we're seeing here, which are the this body, which is the 1987 Buick Grand National Street Eliminator. I ordered this the day it was announced. Thought it was awesome. It solved my dilemma of what car do I get, partly because I want to get the truck, but you have to have a really awesome paint job to do the trucks. This one I can do up pretty easy. Just kind of follow their lead, do the all black. It looks pretty awesome. Yeah, so that made it easy. Love the look of it. But going back, the other thing that they've got is the Junior Mortician, which anybody that follows monster trucks knows the Mortician reference is to Gravedigger, and the Junior would be like son. So like Son of a Digger, and it's a Son of a Digger style truck mashup that they've got with kind of that Jeep look at the front end. And I'd gone to before the stream crashed last time. If I do this an easier way this time, I think if I go to Sam again, is where we found it. Solid Axle Monster Mayhem, which is the monster truck group that I love. And we're just going to search Bari Musauer in here. And we're going to get to this stuff really quick because he's got a couple of cool things. Between him and Fat Cat Customs is where I get a lot of my bodies. So we're going to look at the Junior Mortician first, which is right here, which he got from J Concepts early because this came out the day that they announced it. So they knew what they were going to have people making with it. And so you can see the look of this thing is epic. And it has there was a Drive RC one out before. This one's a little bit boxier, and the front end has a little bit more of the actual look of the Son of a Digger on the front end here. So really cool that this is an option. Hopefully it'll be easy to get our hands on. Does not come with this sticker sheet. You will have to get that done elsewhere or paint it yourself. But Bari was the one that had this one available. Don't even have to buy the body. You just pay $160. It's shipped, already painted, stickered, good to go out the door. It's not a bad deal, in my opinion, to get a really awesome looking truck. This, however, is what I really dig. And this is the King Sling body, which is the new variation of it. So J Concept sells the King Sling body, and it comes with King Sling stickers, but they're the older variation, and the King Sling has gone through several different looks in its shorter lifespan. And this one is awesome with all the skulls here, just the pile of skulls on the bottom. So this is the newer look, and I mean, he killed it with this. He also has the purple version, which I have on order. Let's see if I can find it. It's right here. This is his teaser for it. That's not the full one. Where did he post the full one? Click, click, click. Let me just search his page and see if he posted it on here or not. His trucks that he builds just showed up on Diesel Brothers here. This is his 5th scale Bari build that they showed on Losi. It's all made up of Losi parts. Yeah, so here's what I ordered. That's the purple variation. I really like them both. I'm kind of torn. I really like the green one a lot. Just the green-yellow pop. It's just so bright. But this one really stands off the green chassis, so... And it was kind of a shorter run on it. So anyway, that's kind of, other than this, the update. The other update is the Rock Fan, which we've talked about. I like it and don't like it. I like a lot of it. They had to make some kind of, there's give and take with all this stuff. But because of the platforms that are popular, there's some take on this that I don't love. I don't love the wheel wells. I wish that I don't know. You have to have a wheel well, but I wish that somehow that it was like a secondary piece, like the teardrop, where you could choose if you wanted to have it cut so big. They're huge wheel wells. That's the only thing I really don't like. Because you can find some Plymouths that have this kind of a nose. It is a little bit elongated there, but it's these wheel wells that are just massive. And that's to fit this wheelbase in a crawler. That's kind of what they're building them for, is the crawler market. We'll use them for monster trucks. I know that already. But, yeah. So we got some stuff here going on in the comments. Justin says, you want those cloud axle braces? I have a set. Oh, that'd be awesome, man. That'd be cool. So yeah, Honeywell, I was asking about the J Concepts right before you said it. Oh, that's funny. What table light do you recommend? Is this for doing video stuff? I just use an inexpensive. Right now, I'm using. They can get like 2 of them for $100. It's like 5 screw-in fluorescents that go into a softbox on Amazon. I think they're 500 watts each is what they would be an equivalent of. I like them to be bright because you just turn off lights if you don't want to use the full power of it. But when I want the power, I want to have it available. Oh, cool. Honey Wallace says you got the Junior Mortician for the Claude SMT10 mashup. So he's ordering one. That's cool. So Ryan and Jesse are digging the purple Kingsling. I agree. I totally agree. So, I mean, I like this. I do like the van. I would probably get one. My dad always drove a van. And I told this story before, but he had one that looked just like this when we were kids. I swear this cut down a little bit more at the angle there before it came down out. But it had a tree that fell, literally splitting it down the middle. Like right across this whole area, straight through. It looked like it was gonna be towed on it, like it was a logging trailer or something, because it was perfectly down the middle. But yeah, so I'm a bit partial to vans. The first car that they got me was like an old red van when I was in high school, because I was playing in bands and all that, punk bands, and we were always taking my dad's van to haul all the gear, all the shows. And so that's why I ended up getting a van first, was to basically haul the drums. I wasn't the drummer, but we needed to haul the drums. So yeah, that's where that came from. Let me see. I can pull up a light kit here. I mean, I have a lot of different light kits that I use. And there, it comes down to what you want to pay. And so in the studio here in my office, I have 3 of these light kits. I'm trying to pull it up here. Here we go. So it's something like these. Basically like this. But they're daylight balanced so that they work with your door. I think the total package is more like this one. I think about a 3-pack. But you want to go by the wattage because they don't all come with the same wattage. So this is a 1350 watt photo studio. But when you go into all of them, they have differing amounts that you can get usually. Like subs, like here it's a $99 one that just gives you a 2-pack. 700 watts, so that's $350 each. This one is dimmable LED lights, so this one's going to be a different cost. This one is probably a better option. Actually, you can choose what kind of color temperature you want. But here's just the single that you can get. But inside of them, see, now that's not what I'd get. You want one that takes like 5 bulbs in it that you can turn up and down the power. They've got multiple bulbs in them. So let me say 2000 watt video softbox. Yeah, here we go. So that's what it is. So they're like 1,000 each. So it's $100. This is what I'm talking about. So you can see the heads in here. They've got 5 bulbs in each one. On the back of these are 5 switches, and you literally just flip on the lights that you want on. So this is the basic idea of what I have. And I have 3 hanging over there from the ceiling, and then I have one over here. Hey, RC Guy Garage is in the house. He says he'd rock the van, but only in an older era. Honey Walnut says he's not knocking down the door for it anymore, but he'll still pick one up. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I like it. The other thing that they've got going right now that we've left the Proline site, is they've also come out with their tough bodies, basically, right here. So it's a solid black. You have to sticker the windows or cut them out and put your own Lexan in. You could do that if you wanted. Take away some of the durability of it, but you could cut that out and you could then shoe glue in windows if you wanted. But they've got several of them. I'm interested in them actually for the Nova. But also as a basher one body. But I do like the tough bodies. That's the other thing new that they've come out with, is a whole bunch of them. So cool to see. But as far as news goes, that's pretty much what I saw. There was something, I think it was Charisma had their new lower knuckles that had come out for their Brat, their SCA E1. You can get a higher clearance and maximum steering deflection kit, like a high clearance kit that's available for them that just came out. So that's the other thing. But other than that, guys, like I said, we're leaving it open. We can talk YouTube. We can talk other stuff that you want to know about RC stuff, the backyard track, editing, filming, tips, tricks. Although I kind of get away from too many of the crazy filming stuff anymore that I could do just for simplicity's sake with an iPhone or a GoPro. But yeah, so here's the tough ones. They've got the Nova. They've got this 6640 F100 and this Power Wagon crawler, which looks pretty cool. RC Air March says I need the overhead light. Yeah, he says these are the same soft boxes for primary. Yeah, you could. All I did for my overhead was just got a ceiling mount bracket. So, instead I'm not floating it in. I just screwed it into the ceiling. And then one of them I did from the wall. Actually, it pivots off the wall. It's a really cool bracket. Gives you a little bit more ability to move it and place it where you want. And then get it out of the way. That's the main thing. I was tired of tripping on stands. However, now I just walk into the lights because I don't see them ahead of me because it looks more open. And I get up and I walk right into the light. But it's pretty cool what's available to us. And for pretty cheap now, because the other ones I have are like roll-up LEDs that work off of battery as well. Those are like $500 per light. And those are like my actual travel work lights that I use. You can dial in the color temperature exactly how you want. It's pretty cool. Trying to pull up here a studio light wall bracket. Can show. So I have one like this right here, Me King Photography. I don't think this is the brand. Maybe it is. So that's the ceiling one that I have. And then the wall one is much bigger. And it really pivots off the wall. I wonder if I go into one of these, if it'll suggest it. Nope. But there's a wall. There's a really cool wall one. It's pretty big. And it extends way out into the room, which is really cool. But this kind of stuff, just once I realized I had it set up how I wanted in the studio, I just realized I wanted to get it off the stands that I was constantly having to move around to create some floor space. I don't see the one. Just say photography light wall mount. Let's see if that does it. There it is. So this is the other one. So it extends off this arm here, and then you can loosen it here to bring it up and down. And then you can go in and out from here. And then you can pivot it all the way from wall to wall sideways. It's really cool. Really lets you extend it out there. How's it going, RC reactivated? Mets RC? Razer RC, am I using a Blue Yeti mic? I used to. This one is a Shure SM7B. But this one is not a USB mic. It has to go through a Rodecaster Pro or some other USB style interface to go into the computer. My sinuses have been killing me lately. So Chris Williams, what would you recommend for a tabletop echelon workbench light, pit light? Well, there's a lot of great pit lights that people sell. I don't actually own any of them, but I know like ProTech has one that I see people using all the time. But if you look at, I mean, I'd just go and look around. Like Hootie has one, but some of them, I mean, they're pretty expensive. The ProTech one's like $50, I think you can get it for. But again, I don't have one, so I can't really recommend one. I use my studio lights whenever I'm in here working on my RCs because I have them all around. And then up above, I have some LED. I mean, my room is pretty jacked up. As far as it being a room anymore, I've just got like, I just screwed into the ceiling and I have the LED work lights up there. So basically what would have been like the equivalent of like fluorescents hanging, I have them on each side of my workbench. So if I don't want to turn on the studio lights, I just pull those on. But yeah, I mean, all up in the ceiling, I've got a whole bunch. There's just wires hanging over to a wall, to a little hook. Then they come down. It's kind of crazy in here. You would not want to sell the house quickly and have people coming in here and being like, what do they do here? This is creepy. But yeah, it's not to mention it's just jacked up with parts and stuff everywhere, and possibly some grease on the carpet. Probably should have put down a floor mat before I started doing RC work in here. It kind of came out of nowhere, I'll be honest. Didn't plan to actually work on them up here. And then it started and things got out of control pretty quick, as they tend to do. But yeah. Oh, cool. I just saw this photo. Justin O'Neill got all his stuff in. Check that out. 3 hats. 2 of the black ones, 1 of the camo. And I've been sending stickers to everybody that orders the hats as well. So Very cool. Chris Williams, you're new to the hobby. Yeah, man. So there's lots of different things you could do. As far as a light, I would be prone, to checking out what they sell as far as Pro Tech. But just LED desk lights is basically what you want. Something that's gives you that nice light. So even something like this here seems like it would do pretty well. So is decent size, lights up quite a bit. Different options, $40. So that's what I would look at. All right, Randy Scott says, sorry I'm late to the party. Love your backyard bash park. Are you going to bring back your large jump? Well, what do you mean bring back? Did I take it away? Did I not use it in the video? It is back. In fact, it's right here. And I actually jumped it in several of these videos. I have several videos stacked up for you guys to get to. What's this one? Yeah. So this one, I definitely hit it somewhere in here. Here it goes. So I have it set up to jump back into the yard right now. And it throws you right back into the middle of the action. So that's currently how I have it set up. As you can see, though, in the background, the wood ramp that I just built is still kind of unsure of what it's going to do right now. So it's tucked in back here. I have to find out where I'm going to put it. I'm probably going to put it over here, and I'll just jump over the black ramp. So it'll probably be, I can swing around and hit this one, or I'll have this option to just jump straight out into the yard, really huge, and just jump over the top of that one. That'll save me some room. I can open up the fences back there if I need some really good run room. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. And yeah. So Razor RC mic sounds good. A lot of mics can sound this good. It's really just comes to being close to it. So if you get the Blue Yeti, that one sounds as good. It's just harder to mount the Yeti one onto one of these. It's so heavy that it just became problematic with the mount systems and stuff for it. Especially at that time, I was trying to get it onto like a shock mount, which isn't necessary if you mount to a different desk. So what I've done here is I've actually mounted this microphone so I don't have a shock mount on it, but it's not mounted to the desk. I can knock on it and it doesn't carry any sound through. But if I knock on this desk over here, it would pick that sound up, or any of the motion of my mouse and all that without a shock mount. So, but yeah, it's all about proximity to get that really deep. The closer you get, like the ASMR sound, you can get in here and you can talk really close and get that really, deep voice. But yeah, turn it down, talk loud, get right on it. It'll give it that like radio voice. You just got to chew on the foam a little bit. So Randy says he missed that video. Yeah, I think I had it out there for the Raminator. I just didn't hit it in that video. I think. Maybe not. Maybe I'd still had it pulled to the side. Because I was literally with the Raminator just doing tests to see how the faces of the jumps worked. And then it was doing so awesome, I put the drone away and just went for it. And that's the video that I just posted on its own where I broke it. So I got the parts in the mail. I got to fix it. I broke off a bolt inside of the truck. I'm going to have to, hopefully it'll back out. It's Loctited in there, so we'll see. Camera that I use in the studio, I have three different ones that I use. I have a Fujifilm X-H1 I have a Panasonic GH5, and then I have a Panasonic FZ1000, which is like a bridge camera. That's the one I use for most of my RC videos up until 6 months ago. I mainly use that one because I don't have to carry lenses or anything. It does it all. So yeah, but I used to use my iPhone a lot. I mean, honestly, because I have it, I can post to Instagram from it. Saves me a whole lot of work. But yeah. But all these other cars, Sean's RC Adventure, welcome, man, first of all. Second of all of the other cars look tiny compared to the Raminator out on this track. So the Creighton 8S looks pretty good still out here on this stuff. But like this guy here is so tiny on it compared to what the Raminator out there. It's built for the Raminator, but I knew that they'd just be like big jumps for the rest of the cars, which I'm all right with. So, but they, especially the Mad Van looks so small out there. And I'm going to be taking out, people are asking for the Stampedes to go out there. They want the Send trucks out there. Every video I think is going to be out there for the next little while, because that's what everybody wants to see, is some truck, old truck that I've done out there. There, now I got the audio working. But I actually like it because, like, just going to clear stuff, especially this next ramp, I love trying to just jump that one so I land on the bottom side of it. There's something so cool about that where you actually stick the landing. Even this fun box coming up, that's what I've been trying to do, is time it so that I can come down and land that back side. There, I overshot it. But I was doing this circle for like a long time trying to just get that. But and then today I took the lawnmower out, the riding lawnmower. So like this right here, where you just kind of jump over it and land the backside down. I just love doing that. But yeah. So what we got here? The Losi can fly though. Yeah, the Losi is so smooth in the air. I tried to get the DBXLE out there. Last time I drove it, it started like spinning. I thought I'd, pulled the spur gears, again, because that, or the pinion gear, because that tends to slide. So I went back in and tightened it all up after and whatever. I was like, I don't know why I was slipping. Well, it turns out it actually broken one of the front drive shafts, the CVD. So I need to order a new one of those, because I think it's going to be awesome out there. So Razor RC says, I'm glad you put down ramps on most of the jumps. Most people don't even think about it. Yeah, a lot of times I don't do it. The reason I don't do it is because not all my cars jump the same distance. So either I have to really decelerate on the fast ones to land the down ramps, or I can't make the jumps with the smaller trucks. So it's hard. It's hard. I'll say that. Now, so what I did do is I made them so they're big enough so they're still fun to jump if you want to hit the down ramps, or you can just launch into the yard if you want to. So that's kind of the plan out there. But the Tenacity DB Pro, there's something special about that car. Beyond the awesome Fox body. I just haven't had anything that's driven like it. So I'm not a big buggy guy. Because I drive on terrain like this, that's just kind of not perfect at all. And so I have a 2-wheel drive buggy on the way. Eventually, I ordered one of the new Losis, the carpet ones, because we have a new carpet track that opened that I'm trying to get to, but I'm waiting for the Losi to come in. And the 22 5.0 AC, I think. There's a lot of... It's almost as bad as like the JLB 92011 90210. Trying to remember some of those Losi names, because they get confusing in there. The 22, the 22.5. So yeah, but I'm super excited about it. All right, we'll see you. Honey Walnut Man. Just saw that it looked like you're checking out. Thanks for stopping in. The Creighton 4S I love it, and I can't wait to get it here, but I did bust the shock. I'm not blaming the Creighton for busting the shock. I'm blaming the RC bash ramp bolts. The bash ramp itself is awesome. Using those hex bolts, which I thought was awesome because it could all be put together so easy. Turns out there's a fatal flaw in that if you catch one of them wrong, compressing as you're hitting the ramp, it will do damage. And it looks like that's actually what broke my MT10 and not the landing as well. When I looked at how the part was broken and pulled, looks like it caught something and broke. Both of them I did miss the ramp, and so it could be wider is one thing, but it also the bolts. So I just got rounded heads, and now things are good, golden. But it's all sold out. Like the shock shaft with that piece are sold out, so that's sucky. But yeah, whatever. Thank you, Bars and Tone RC, for the $2.99 super chat or super sticker. I don't get to see the stickers in here. If it's a sticker, I need to keep the YouTubes open so I can see if it is. Razor RC says the 5.0 AC nice. Okay, so you had nice the Tenacity Pro. Yeah, I like it a lot. RC Air Marshal, I love my Creighton 4S. Great truck for the money. I agree, especially with RPM arms on it. That's what's huge about that car for me. So it's for the money. It's tough. The shocks leak a little. That's the one bummer. I wish that whatever's going on with those shocks, I hope that gets figured out. And that it doesn't, knowing it's a problem, that it doesn't keep coming out in the next ones. That's my only hope. But still, I'll refill those shocks for this. That savings, man. Clean them up, fill them up, and keep going. RCR Marshall, you got the RPM. Yeah, if you haven't broken them yet, don't bother. Pilot Ryan is right. It's definitely worse on the smaller shocks. The leakage, I actually haven't had leakage on my 4S until I just had the one break, which is probably just from the torquing on that too. So, yeah. Another super chat. Thank you, Justin O'Neill. I will check my DM. I'll try not to do it on here where it might pop up on the screen. I always get worried with some of that stuff. I don't like to look at the same time. Maybe I'm live, but I will give it a check, man. Thank you so much. Those cloud braces look cool. I don't know if you've seen the cloud mounts that they've got that CPE has. Those are awesome too, where it actually, if you use their links, I don't know if you're keeping the links or not, but it actually mounts. It's a metal brace. It goes from one of your arms to your motor plate and holds that as well better. Because I've had that break as well. In fact, I just had a break, and then the axle just rolls. But yeah, that's a pretty cool thing that I was just given one when I broke mine. Then I went and ordered some. Chuck GRC asked, do you use any sealer on your shock cap threads? I don't. I haven't had them leak there. Typically, it leaks out the bottom. Not out of the cap. All right, Razor RC, man, take care. So, yeah. On the backyard track now, I've had the Outcast. My Outcast is going all blinky on me. Like, I'll be running it, then the servo stops turning, but then I'll back up, and then it'll start working, and then it won't work, and I look at it, and it's just blinking like three red lights. But I also listen, and the fan is like spinning up, spinning down, spinning up. It's like there's not a constant current coming. So I don't know if I've got something wrong with my ESC, if I have something wrong with my receiver. Maybe I've landed that thing some really stupid hard times, and I haven't pulled out the receiver to see if the stuff is still plugged in right or not, or if it's slipped at all. So I'm kind of curious. It's I'm actually running an SR3 something 10. It's upgraded Spectrum because I'm running it with my Rugged 5. DX5 Rugged. So, Sean's RC says loose wire somewhere. Yeah, I'll have to check it. I have another ESC on a donor rig that I can put in there. So I can start problem solving. It's just a bummer. Like, I really want to get that out there and really running. It was doing great. It was doing great. And then I kind of drove it over my fire pit that I forgot it had a fire in like an hour before. So it's probably still warm. And then after that, I had issues. But it's not like it was on fire. Like, there's no... It's just warm, but the ESC still didn't feel warm. The tires didn't melt running through it or anything. It shouldn't have been hot enough to do anything, but it's just funny that it was right after that. Then yesterday I landed the Kraton 8S in the fire pit after I just had a fire again. So the moral of the story is I need to stop having fires before I run the RC cars. But yeah, definitely you hear it throttle up and down with the fan. So it's some kind of brownout. So, oh, that's what Careful Cole's saying too. Could be a brownout situation. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'll try some different batteries. But they're my nice new like Venom graphene batteries that I was running in it. Dual 3S. Careful Cole. Don't drive your cars in fire. No, it's not melted. I'm just saying it was just... I mean, I could probably have the Kraton one landing in the fire again, I think. Oh, yeah, here. Milk, that's warm. Gotta stop making fires out here before I run. Live and learn. I made this jump so you can jump it sideways too, not thinking about that I also burn stuff there. Yeah, RCR Marshall might have gotten a little hot, but I brought it out again. So literally at the beginning of this day, I started with it and immediately started having the steering issues. And then all of a sudden, like, it wouldn't give me power to the throttle oddly at times. So it's just driving squirrely now because I don't have any control of it really. So I have to like throw it in reverse and some weird stuff. Actually, it's still turning at this point. So, where's it stop? I mean, it was finicky right from the moment I turned it on. There, now it's not. So I'm having to back it up and... using braking and just kind of messing with it to try and get some kind of steering. As you could hear me playing with the throttle there, or the steering. Anyway, I'd love to get that out there because I can already tell it's going to be a total blast. It's like a perfect playground for it. All right, so a couple more questions in here. Does anyone have any good ways of fixing the ESC back down when you break all the tabs off it? Were you trying to waterproof it? Question from Justin O'Neill. When the regulator drops, that's the J Concepts regulator chassis, Clodbuster. He's asking what kind of build are you thinking about putting it on? Stock Clod axles? Totally. Retro. Even the stock arms and everything from it. Going retro class. Mike L's answer for bars and tones is double-sided tape. That's what I use to hold my ESCs down. Very rarely do I have any of that kind of use tabs to hold them down. I've actually, with one of my cars, used zip ties too, strapping them down in there. I think it was the, what was it? Oh, it was the Zombie. I went right through the chassis. There were 2 open holes in the bottom of the chassis, and I just zip tied through it. Double-sided rubber type. Yep, that's Sean's RC Adventure. Yeah. No, just landing it way too hard and snap them off. Yeah. If the ESC is still intact as one piece, I just use the rubbery type of the double-sided tape, like the gray stuff that's super tacky. It's actually hard to get it off after you put it on. If you do it properly and you put, like, clean it and then use alcohol, like propyl alcohol, whatever it's called, isopropyl alcohol, and then wipe it down. It dries almost instantly, which is great. Cleans. Then you stick it down there without getting your fingerprints on it, and it will stick. And do the same thing with the bottom of the ESC, and it will be, you wait hours, and that thing is going to be like cement. Mr. Boonham Kane says duct tape is universal in its purposes. Yeah, man, you can't go wrong with the big zip tie either. If that's what you're using and it works. I've been known to do. I did that in my first Stampede too, the Gravedigger. I had when I put the Castle one in, I didn't have good double-sided tape or know of like the servo tape and all that kind of stuff. So zip ties, they work wonders. If you can't fix it, duck it. Yep. That sounds almost wrong if you don't pronounce that right. But yeah. So I'm really excited about the regulator chassis. I have a feeling it's going to sell really well. Again, I really like what J Concepts is doing. I feel like they've got their pulse on what's kind of interesting right now with the Street Eliminator stuff, with the monster trucks. Kind of feel like Proline's let off the monster truck stuff, which is kind of curious to me. A lot of the bodies that we would buy for our monster trucks, they've stopped making. The tires, they've stopped. So, like, J Concepts kind of has that market to themselves right now. But I definitely I hope what they have in that picture is going to be some 2.2 chevrons for us from J Concepts. That would be wicked. Because I use the J Concepts and the 2.6s, but I would use the Midwest wheels by J Concepts because I wanted the hexes that they have. They've got like changeable hexes, so you can actually, one, if you strip it out, you can just put a new one on, but 2, you can change the offset. But I would put the Proline tires, they're 2.2 chevrons on the Midwest wheels by J Concepts. So that's what my 2.2s are running. Kind of a mashup. Mitchell's RC, thank you with the super sticker. I need to see what the sticker is. Just keep it up. Bars and tone as well. Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome. It'll help me pay for my increased internet speeds that I just jumped up to today. But thanks for joining in, man. Hey, you guys have any questions you want answered? Mitchell's RC, any topics to discuss? I just got in some arms for the B6.1, which should also fit on fingers crossed, will fit on the DR10, which will allow me to adjust using the actual arms themselves. Have a screw in them, and they're 2 plates that move like this, and there's notched marks, so you can set your toe in on the rear arms for the rear tires of the DR10. So just got those in from Beach RC. Hopefully that works. So hopefully this is working better. I haven't actually looked at the quality. It looks a lot better than it was earlier. It was junk. What's going on, Fitzscaler Bust RC? I just got in my package from Primal RC with my... So the only things that I really needed were, from that breakage, I already had shock shafts. I actually have extra shocks. I just bought extra shocks because they're not that expensive, considering the size. I have extra shocks, and they come with oil in them. So even then, it's even better. Like when you think about buying the bottles of oil to fill those, they take quite a bit of oil per shock. So it's pretty decent pricing on their shocks. So I have a set of 2 of those extra, but I also bought the shock shaft when I broke it the first time or bent it. They come in packs of 2 for $10. So they're $5 each. So I had that already so I could fix the shocks. The only thing I needed, and I have the whole screw kit, but that breakage that I showed in that video was I broke off the upper arm from the axle, which broke the screw off, but there's a spacer there, and I lost that spacer. And that spacer kit is for all of the spacers. And so it's like 8 spacers or something. And it's like $20. So when you consider the cost for all of them, it's not bad. But when you only need one, $20 for that one piece is like, ah. And then I also lost the ball end, or the pivot ball, that has like a grub screw locking point on it. It's like a modified pivot ball in a way, for the sway bars. So those 2 things are all I really needed. I had the other stuff, but I had to wait for them so they could fix it. So yeah, they are massive bolts, and that's a massive spacer. So, and the shocks are massive. So I have 3 of the shock shafts. So when I replace this one, I'll have 2 spares, which is what I want. I always want to have a spare on hand. I have spare, for the Primal, I also have spare brake pads. Those kind of things. So I'm trying to make sure that I have spares. I bought the whole screw kit, so I have the screws for the whole truck, or the hardware, I guess. So that's good. Need to get that truck up and running again, though, because it's... That run that I did in the backyard with the track being finished is probably the most fun I've ever had with an RC. So I hate it. I don't hate it. I don't understand, though, when people are like, oh, when you make it faster, it'll be fun. I'm like, dude, that was the most fun I've ever had. I have really fast RC cars. But that run, there's something about it when you put that control in your hand and you control that raminator, it's a different ball game. It's sketchy too. Like if it was going faster and further, I'd be terrified. It's something else. So I geared all of these jumps for what I thought it would be good for this truck. One, to have some of the soft landings for it. And then also some of the downsides. But yeah. But yeah. I can't even begin to explain how cool it is out on this track. Justin O'Neill as well, man. Thank you so much. You guys are too awesome. The super chat. He says for channel expenses. We definitely try and keep it going and try and keep the stuff as quality as we can for you. I'm actually a little disappointed in these last videos that I've done. It feels a little bit jerky to me, the way that it was shot. I shot it all in slow motion, so then when you play it at real speed, some of it just feels a little bit jerky to me because I'm moving so much because of the yard allows you to follow. Normally in places I'd just run and I'd hit a jump and do, maybe reset it and not do a whole lot of camera movement. But here in the backyard, I can spin all the way around and that motion of the camera with that higher shutter speed is just makes it stuttery. It's not as smooth as I'd like it to be. So I'll have to work on that for learning this backyard and how to film it and all that. But I wanted the slow motion because of all the Citizen RC stuff looks so cool when he's hitting jump slow motion. But, you know, it's just that moment of the hit is what he shows. And I'm trying to show the longer video and it's not really working in that format. So I'm going to have to rethink some of that. How's it going, Ryan's RCs? Chuck G. RC says form is more important than distance for sure. Yeah, you know, the one thing will be for me, you know, that I want the Raminator to be able to do is a backflip. That's the one thing I want. When I build that backflip ramp, I want it to be able to hit it in a way that it can backflip. And does it have the power to do that? Is there enough low end? Not in my tune right now, and I don't know that there is one in that setup currently stock to get that instant wheel speed. That's the only thing. CCxRC or Bus says he just put up a slow motion video of the Rovin Baja Max FT TMR edition. Oh, sweet. I'll have to go check that out. That sounds epic. The TMR engine is perfect for getting a backflip. It will be once it has the muffler for it. I'm not going to buy it till the mufflers are in stock and I can get them both at the same time shipped. That's when the money's too much to drop for me until I know that it can all come in. So I also have the 5th scale bar rebuild coming. That's going to be the electric 8S one that runs off the low C MTXL wheels with the solid axle, Hess axles, the custom axles, and that will backflip. But there could be some carnage because that thing has got so much power. So I'm gonna definitely put in some wheel time and before I get too nuts with it. That's for sure. Because it's not a cheap build. It's a pricey build. But that's because it's all custom. And then you're buying all the best low C parts for the diffs and all that one off, which is more expensive than they cost when you get in a whole kit. So Earl, man, I feel your pain, dude. The chat is not working right on iPhone. I'm having the same issue. I have to close the app multiple times before it actually works right for me. Green RC USA says, been watching your new track vids. It's so freaking cool with the Raminator. Love it. One thing for your vids, I kind of wish the music was lowered a bit more in post or removed. Yep, that's personal opinion. I definitely leave it so the engine tones are hearable. But especially for something that long, it gets a little bit, for most people, too much for mass appeal. But I hear you. I do some of them where I don't do music, but a lot of them I do. And because I just personally, when I'm watching other people's videos, I can only take it for so long if there's not music or talking. So I need something extra. Alan is working on that. I know it stinks with the pipes, is what 5th Scalar Bust RC says. Yeah, man, I know he's had issues with companies and stuff getting them out the door, so I get it. Bars and Tone RC, that's not refreshing at all. Yeah, man. Tom Anderson, this is funny. That's old school right there. Found my channel by watching my E-Flight Apprentice videos. I still run that thing. Still running with the stock battery even. That battery's still working. So crazy. But I have that and I have the UMX P51D BL. Little Mustang. So that man, I still remember crashing that thing into the cornfield. But before that, you know, I read the instructions, I did it, I'd take it out and I'd fly it. And then that one day after I did a repair, I took it out to fly it. I totally forgot the whole thing about it having to be set down when you turn it on and flat. And I could not get it to steer straight or rudder. It was just, I basically told the whole plane that it was set up wrong, you know, weird. So, and then I ended up crashing it because of that. And then realized my one fatal mistake that I hadn't quite learned yet, which was that it has to be set and not touched while it goes through the power on phase. That was a big mistake. But Green RC USA, I will definitely look into turning down some of the music through some of it. If it is definitely too loud. It's really tough to tell because I do it all off of just basic computer speakers. And I use the mixing level meters and all that to try and set it well, but it always plays different no matter who listens to it. If you watch it on an actual TV, it sounds way worse than if you listen to it on an iPhone or even a MacBook or any of that, based on the stereo. You know, I don't do a big sound edit on all my videos because, I mean, sound editing would double the amount of time, triple the amount of time of just doing the editing alone. Sound editing is no joke to do it well. But I definitely, you know, am open to the criticisms or the suggestions. But I like music videos. Especially if there's slow motion in the videos, because if it's just like it's just way too much. I mean, there's so many videos that people put up, and they just don't feel like any thought was put into them on social media when it's just, you know, slow motion for one shot forever, you know. And if there's not music, to at least make it feel like, oh, well, this was done intentionally. So that's my only thought with it. But I know that people want to hear the running too. So, I mean, if you listen to even the one that I just put out with the, here, I've got it right here. You can hear the engine tones. At least I can, in my, well, maybe not this one so much. Well, you can still hear it. But it's just a lot of gear grinding, metal. But it gives it, I mean, it sets the mood and the tempo is what the music does. Here it is without. And I'll agree, it does seem a little loud in this one. Yeah, Tom Anderson, man, my apprentices were totally working. Completely fixed up. So I could watch this for maybe a minute. But if there's no talking, even less. But you give me a little music in there. Especially for the slow-mo stuff. That was a pretty brutal hit. I thought I broke it. But it just changed everything. So that same shot, the slow-mo without music. You can definitely hear the hit. So these are the kind of differences. Same shot again. I want to turn my music on. There it is. So, I mean, it does come down to personal preference, what people like. I prefer it with music. Fiscal Bus, that was a hard hit. Man, you should see one of my hit with the Kraton 8S. It was pretty tough. But I could see that was a little bit louder than I actually like it. And it's because I have the headphones on, I'm noticing it. I usually like to hear the engine noises a little bit more over the car. Now, one of the differences that I'm realizing with this too is I'm further away because of where I'm filming. Plus, I can only walk so many places right now because it's so muddy at my house. I mean, it rained for 4 or 5 straight days after I put all that dirt in there. So it got crazy. All right, so I missed a bunch of comments, so I'm going back here. Earl keeps calling Justin Justine. The Apprentice is good. I definitely want to get into 3D stuff. So I did buy the Real Flight game this past year. I finally have a PC that I can run it on. Fiscal Bus says, when you watched his slow-mo, it's the pipe on the Baja Max is a TMR Stinger pipe. It's a prototype. Okay. Very cool. Tom Anderson got his first plane after flying drones. What a huge... It is a big difference. Big difference. Bars and tone. The worst is onboard footage with the audio from the GoPro. Yeah, that can be pretty bad. Sometimes I'm all right with it. If they turn it down enough, it gives it an energy. Yeah, Tom, the Apprentice is flying awesome, man. I fixed it right up. It glued back together so easily. I was shocked because when the cone broke off the nose, I thought I was done. Green RC USA, keep up the awesome content. We all appreciate it. Cool, man. Need new shocks for your Sentin 3S BLX. Know of any options? Yes. The best options are the Typhon 6S shocks. The direct fit over. Something to look into. Or maybe that's for the Kraton 4S. I think it's for the Sentin as well. Nice big ones that way. Mr. Boodum Kane, there's got to be a tune in the background. It's a totally different video with or without it. Yeah, I don't do it for all of them. So I've taken this to heart because a lot of people have said that they don't like it. So a lot of times my first run video now, if you actually notice and watch the videos, I don't add music. But I talk, and you're hearing it run and talking about it. And so, but these ones I didn't talk at all. And so when there's no talking, it feels really... For the amount of video that we're running, it feels really long. I'll show you the really hard hit with the Kraton, but I think there's talking in this a little bit too. We can hear the difference of what this is like. So let me cue this up here. Make it a little bigger as well. No, I need this left one. Up this corner here, I think there's an angle. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, missed it. It'll just take it though. This thing's a beast. Oh. So like this one, I won't put music under probably, unless there's a point where I stop talking. Then I'll drop in some music. But this is that hard hit. I mean, look at this angle. Turning it straight over all the way to this. Boom! Right. Look at that. Bend over. Whoops, wrong one. Let me select this one. You can zoom in on it. Look at that twist. Did not break. These are Arma arms, which is crazy.
Oh, that's an AR snapper.
Called it an A-arm snapper even.
I think we got lucky though. Looks like it. Definitely want to be off throttle on a landing like that. That'd have been wicked. Now this thing's a little steep. I need to change the hit on this because it'll. Oh no, that's pretty good. I lied. Nice.
Yeah, so again, like this, I wouldn't necessarily need music underneath this because there's enough talking throughout it.
Yeah, there's lots of ways to get some air out here.
So that's kind of the difference for me, is when I do something like that, then I'm not necessarily needing to throw music under it. Now I could drop the music down even lower when you're going to talk, or just leave it really buried underneath, is an option. So this one, I think we only shot at 1080. But yeah, you could have the talking through all of this and then just lightly put music underneath it. I think I've got some music I downloaded. I really like, and I don't listen to this type of music. You guys saw earlier that were here earlier what type of music I'm into, which is like punk music. Rancid, MXPX. But this stuff's really just good to cut to. I wouldn't listen to that music outside of making videos, honestly. But if I buried it under here, I wouldn't hate it. Even if it's quiet, because I'm talking through it. See, I'm not talking here much, so I could put it up and down. Have it louder in the parts where there's not a lot of talking. So it seems like for a lot of this intro, I'm not talking. So I would probably just add this in at full, but when I'm doing the other stuff like here, just have it really quiet underneath.
Just a ride here in the middle.
It's very subtle. That was a big jump. Anyway, you can see I'm having a blast out here.
I think there's an angle on it. Yeah. Oh, missed it. It'll just take it though. This thing's a beast. Oh.
Let's see, I probably actually wouldn't lay our music under it. I'm with
Corner here. I think there's an angle on it.
RC USA on that, or US. A lot of that I wouldn't put music under. How's it going, RC Basher boy? It really comes down to what you feel the tone of the video is. So I probably would start with all of the stuff that has talking, and then I would do like a mashup of stuff at the end with music, and then outro with whatever I would say. Because I think I definitely have like an intro that talks about the truck. Maybe. Maybe not. Yeah. So I'd probably start with some kind of shot to get your attention in the beginning, music, cut out, go to talking, go back to music, and then out.
Look wicked though.
So, but yeah, I love the, Earl was saying he loves the slow motion crashes, so definitely this is gonna get this treatment right here. should have gassed it right there and pulled it out, but I missed my opportunity. Missed it. Earl saying he likes to hear it over the music for sure. Yeah, I don't like it when it's totally dropped out. Now, certain things I shoot in slow motion where there's no audio, and I can't do anything about that. Sometimes I do try and go in and fake audio. I've done that where I don't have audio, and then I'll actually slow motion other audio to try and fake it. But yeah. So it really comes down to what I'm doing. Metz is getting mad by the... Yeah, man, I hear that. The chat thing's really messed up in the new... It happened when they did that update to where their comments show up. It seems like it broke that feature for the regular live chat. At least that's what it seems like to me. Randy Scott, part of the appeal to your vids are the sounds of your cars and hearing your reactions. Yeah, and so I've actually been telling people that I've strayed away from doing a lot of these music video style that I've done with some of these recent ones. Now, the reason that the Raminator one I did all music was because I was just focused on driving at that point, and filming, and I didn't really talk much. I waited till after to give my final opinion of what I thought. So there wasn't talking throughout it. So I needed music to kind of let that run for 6 minutes straight. I gave the whole amount of footage that I had of that truck running. I didn't cut any of it. It was just one long loop of jumping. Other than the one spot where it flipped on its lid, I cut the part where I walked up to it and flipped it. But other than that, it's uncut. It's just straight raw run footage with music laid under it to kind of get you through that 6 minutes. Yeah, Mets, you can't click on names and subscribe. I find that to be a problem. Now, is it freezing for people that aren't computers? Because I think on my computer, it's all running good. I'm seeing everything. Earl says, all the Raminator noise and focus on a huge RC is a must to pay attention for sure. It's a beast. Yeah, I want to hear every little thing that it's doing with the engine. So I'm not usually talking a whole lot. I'm just enjoying it. And it's terrifying to drive. It really is. Basher Boy says, awesome to see how you edit your vids. I'm learning myself little by little on how to edit videos. Glad I switched to KineMaster. That's cool. iPad Pro. Yeah, any of them that have the app for the iOS for sure are having issues. Definitely having issues. So as far as, edits go, I mean, I like to think them out ahead of time when I even shoot them. So like the Tenacity video was super simple as far as the way that it's done, because all I did was set up with something talking. I know I have it talking at the beginning, which I filmed, and then it drives off and just starts driving. I don't really talk through the rest of this one. This is like old school how I used to do videos. And then I come back at the end and I talk again about what it was like to drive. All the rest in the middle is just what you want to cut up. You can see I've cut it a lot to try and help move it along.
See how it does out here.
It really gave me a lot of runtime, so I cut a lot out and sped stuff up. Some of these cuts are just to go for slow motion, where I cut right there. That's slow motion to the next cut, which is another slow motion cut. And then back to the regular speed is the cut. So it's a lot of cutting, but that's a really simple format. The ones that I do technically as my first run videos are way even easier than that format. It's literally just talking. You start at the car. Hey, this is what this car is. The shot of it here. This is what this car is. And, this is the first run. What it's running as a battery. And then just talking about the feel of it the whole time I'm driving it for 5-10 minutes, whatever the battery is. and then kind of wrap up with what the experience was like. And that's as simple as it can get. I mean, way easier for me to actually make as well. And that's what have told other people is like, I spent a lot of time on videos that don't get a lot of views. And it's crazy that the ones, I mean, we can look at it. If we go, here, give me a second. Let's go back. We'll talk. We'll show this. So if we go back to YouTube, and we look at my page, oh, it's not showing it because it's here. But the bash video that I made of the Creighton 8S, let's go to that. Creighton 8S. So 17K views of the video of the 8S speed test. So what does this look like? 6.9K views of the change of the pinions. The Digger's Dungeon video, the bash that I did, that had all of the editing, only has 5,000 views. Has a few little things in it in that formula that I was talking about. Like it'll have some talking in it at the beginning. So we got a little intro crazy.
Hey guys, here CCxRC, and I'm super excited because we got a big black and green bashing machine in the mail from Arma, the Creighton 8S. And I thought, what better place to bring it than here, the home of the Gravedigger, Digger's Dungeon. The Andersons have let us come out to run this new rig here, and so we're gonna bash it on this motorcycle course that they've set up for an event they had this past weekend, and it looks perfect for this big green wrecking machine, the Arma Creighton 8S. So let's do it.
So this one has a whole lot of editing, time spent. Cut, slow mode, on car cameras, bunches of different camera angles, and it only has 5,000 views. This one took me traveling down there, and then a long time to edit, getting all the cameras and stuff ready. The first run video, first run and bash has 9,000 views, so it has more.
Knocking it all kind of sideways.
All I do is straight up run video. This is my old backyard track. Seems really wimpy now, doesn't it?
Out here in the backyard. That is insane.
But it's literally uncut.
Oh man. And it just flies.
Just talking through it. Super easy. Just my iPhone. Nothing special.
As we're running, we'll show you the inside here afterward.
Then we show it a little bit, but it's all like almost no cuts. I did end up putting some editing at the end here. Just bonus footage with music. But you can, it's definitely buried a little bit. You still hear the car. But yeah. So I realized that the value of some of the crazy stuff isn't there as much as it is people wanting to know what you're doing and talking. They want to hear a voice behind what's going on. So the stuff that I'm showing that's in here right now, these videos are just straight music video, which they don't tend to get the same kind of views or interaction that the other ones do, even though they're more work to do. So you have to kind of judge what you want it to be, right? And what you want to do with your channel. But these two have very little talking. They set it up at the beginning. They say a little something. They show a bunch of run footage. But the Mad Van's like 4 minutes long total, so not a ton. Then it wraps it up a little bit at the end. I think it does. Maybe it doesn't. One of them didn't wrap up very much. I think it just kind of abruptly cut out. Yeah. we lipo cut, and then it just kind of cut off. I didn't say anything to wrap it up. Kind of a fail on my part there, but yeah. So with this, I mean, with the Creighton videos, I did a bunch of them in the beginning, and the ones that just say like first run where you're just talking through it, those get more views than necessarily any of the other ones. The bash and break. This one where it's jumping to the moon only has 2,000 views, but the first bash one has 9. So yeah. But the one that I really like is the one that's at Digger's Dungeon with the Creighton 8S bashes at Digger's Dungeon. I thought, putting the name Gravedigger in the title would work. Nah. Speed test, 41K views. How fast is it? Very little editing here. Just back and forth with GoPro on my head, on my hat. 41,000 views. So you don't have to go in and do any crazy editing or any of that kind of stuff. You still want to be able to get through your edits quickly. Like this, I can edit in no time. Get it out really quick. Because there isn't. You don't have to find music. Because finding music, honestly takes a while to do, to find the right song for a piece. You guys saw me do it the other day. It takes some time. See you, Sean. Just checking out. It's 1 o'clock. Wow. Everybody's getting ticked with the chat. It's definitely a frustrating thing. Yeah, RC Basher Boy, if you can slow-mo cut in the app, that's where it's awesome. iMovie on the iPhone makes it really easy. There's some other ones I think that can do it too. On the iPad, what do I use on my iPad? Trying to get it to open up here. I use something called LumaFusion. It's not free. I think it's like $20, but it's like a full-on editor on an iPad. It's really, really, really impressive. And to buy it for only $20 is insane. I don't know if that's still the cost that they do it for it, but I mean, it's a full-featured editor. It's really cool. Bars and Tone says, I think people like seeing a face and hearing a voice and having that backyard feel. Yeah, I don't think, I'm even more than seeing the faces, I think the voice, and having somebody tell them and give them information. And this is what I've told people is the RC companies are already making a commercial for their vehicles, right? So they're paying somebody, a filmmaker, to go out and make a really awesome looking video that shows it in slow motion, doing all this cool stuff set to music. And there's some text that pops up that says like steel transmission, I don't know what are some of the things they would say, like waterproof, and then you see it hit through a puddle, things that pop up on there. And then, yeah, it's a really cool video. It's well done. It's polished. And then for me to come out and just do the same thing, but not say anything about the car, then be like, dude, check out this cool video I made with my RC car. Like, maybe that's what your channel is, and that'll get views for you. But for me, that's not what the majority of my stuff is. And it wasn't getting that many views anyway. So when I was taking the time to do things really polished, it actually wasn't going anywhere. So when I actually stopped to just give people what they wanted, which isn't what I wanted to make really cool cinematic videos, coming from the film world. I'm like, man, I'm going to really do these really awesome. And I realized, well, nobody's watching them, so what's the point? And what people really want is to know about the cars and what makes them good or not good, or what are you feeling when you're driving it? Do you like it? Does it not feel responsive? Is it too responsive? Is it rolling over? That kind of stuff, that's live feedback. Also, and not editing a million times. So that was what I used to do, is I used to make them cinematic, and so you'd cut everything so it looked really cinematic. You'd jump, it'd cut to a corner shot, it boom, it'd bank the corner. But each one you just literally set up, just film that one shot 100 times. not 100, but 10 times till you got a few you liked. Then you do the corner and you hit the corner 10 times, go the other way. So you have to and from, and then you just end up editing it all together, but you never saw in one long run what the truck was capable of. And so it could have crashed every time just after the jump. Like I'd go to turn and it'd flip, or, you know, you don't get a sense of how it handles. And if you always are flipping it over or, yeah. So I totally get it now. Like at the time I didn't, but I do now. And so it's changed the way I think about it, because really the whole purpose for me getting in was to kind of share what I find is an awesome hobby that relieves a lot of stress for me. And it's just a great outlet, something that I hope is like a bonding experience between me and my kids growing up. And when they're older and I'm even more older, we're still doing it together. So, yeah. And that's what I wanted to convey to people. And I realized that just making really cool cinematic videos wasn't doing that. So, but yeah, just want to have fun and, you know, show that it's exciting, you know, that you can hear it in the tone when you're excited about something. But anyway, that's kind of where it comes from. And that's the change that I've made. And I want quality. That's for sure. I don't want it to be terrible. So I want to have good audio, and that's what's killing me about the last couple of weeks with the wind noise. You know, even for my iPhones, I have like these $150 microphones that go on there. They point right back at you, so you get good audio. It's just not a great. I need to get like a dead cat for it and put it on here, which would actually be like a caterpillar size. But so yeah, I have invested in these things so that I can still do quality, even though I'm making it less work. And so that's the difference, is that you still want to have quality. And even this is just a communication thing. We're talking, kind of go through things that people have questions about. You know, even for the jumps in the backyard, a lot of that comes just from my BMX background with the jump setup and, you know, kind of knowing exactly what I want the face to look like, even having never hit it. So John Martin, yes, live now. Yeah, it does need a dead cat. I have dead cats for my other ones. Stick this guy on there. Little overkill. But I have them for some. But it's super helpful. And then, you know, with the podcast setup, the microphones, all this stuff is just to really make it so that the communication is good in quality. And that's why I was so pained by the last stream where the video and the computer was making it so that the internet actually, you know, I could have done really quality stuff, but it would still look like garbage because of the internet. So having to remedy that meant going and calling Cox and saying, I want whatever your best internet is. I need a better upstream, which is going to be better for me in the long run in a lot of ways, because uploading my videos, like, so normally it'd be about now that I would finish a video, maybe 1:30, and then I've got to upload it, do the graphics, all that stuff, which I just template out like, you know, anybody, most people do. Different people have different ways of doing it. How's it going, JMRCs? So everybody's got their own way of doing their templates. I've got several different setups that I do, like here. So I just take whatever picture from my phone that I get. Here's a Raminator and just drag it in here. Super simple way of doing it. Normally I have edited it more than this before I bring it in on my phone. And then, you know, I've got it ready to go. Under here, just change my text and I'm good. Something like this I'll have to do a little extra work with because I didn't think about it being 16 by 9, so I have to paint in here. But overall, I don't need to do this because I've already done it, but yeah, I would typically just come in here and grab something and kind of fake my way through all of this stuff. wasn't a very good spot. That's better. There, now I got my fence all faked in there. But yeah, so then I'd have this all set to go. So a lot of this stuff is templated. Same with the RC Conspiracies ones. You know, a lot of these graphics I just open and replace what the pictures are and move the text around to where I need it. So those kind of elements are done quickly. Just because I have a background doing all that stuff. But Justin O'Neill, when you prep in a build, what kind of hardware do you use? Do you believe that stainless hardware is weak? Do you go? A lot of times I just use the hardware that comes with it. I don't like the Tamiya stuff that comes with a Phillip head, so I just went and ordered the stuff off of CPE. You know, stainless is fine for me for most stuff. Mr. Booten Kane said I used to work for a place that sold GoPro stuff. They do a thing called a mustache or something like that. Yeah, you can put that on there. You glue it on over the GoPro mic to kill wind noise. You can do that on point and shoot cameras too. The microphones a lot of times are up on the top here. And so you can actually just put like a little mustache type material, little hair stuff, just glue it on top there. It's double-sided tape usually. But yeah. JMRC's having the same issue, it looks like, maybe with the... Oh, no, he's saying hello to me, then hello to Bashboy. I thought he was having trouble with the chat as well. Beetle Bailey, X-Max in the backyard. You know, there will come a time where that will happen. I don't have one right now. I sold my 6S. I hadn't run it in over a year. Seemed like it was time. But I miss it. But I'll tell you what, that 8S, you know, some people dogged it. Mine's been tough. But I have been looking at the 8S. I'll say that. But I had to sell my other one. I sold the cars that I had any value in still, that I thought I had value in, that I didn't need. Not selling my monster trucks, you know, not my Cloudbusters, not my SMT-10s, although I sold 2 SMT-10s to people that needed them and they weren't available. So I had enough and they were still kind of stock. I still took a hit on it, even though I had upgraded some of it, but it had been run. So what can you do? I need to replace them. But the monster trucks are where I'm at. Those are my favorite. But you know, like the X-Max, I had value in. I could still sell for a couple $100, $300, I think, $350. I think I sold for $350, and I got 500 or 600, 500, I think, for my DBXL when I was trying to buy the bigger stuff, like the 5th scale sprint car, gas one. So I had to sell some stuff that could get me money toward that. So, because a lot of the stuff, guys, I buy, you know, and I need the money for it and for other things. So, yeah, just like anybody else, you have to sell some of it to buy some of it. So, and when I was looking at the Raminator, I needed to get some money. But, yeah. I do, guys, like I said, I have a little conspiracy here that I can't wait and hope will be unveiled at some point to you guys. I keep seeing it catching my corner of my eye. So going back to conspiracies, that is the conspiracy. I am the silhouette. Shady, silhouetted. But what does it say? Shady, silhouetted characters. Images. Shady, silhouetted images. So yeah, I'm looking at the orange or the green X-Max, and I have been. I keep looking at it. I just don't have the money right now. Yeah, JMRCs. I can't say what it is, but I'm so excited about it. And you guys wouldn't even be able to come close to what it was. It's totally out there, which is still cool. But one day, I hope that it'll get brought out, because not everything does. Just doing a little TTT on it. Tony torture test. Oh, Beetle Bailey just ordered the green one. Nice. RC Basher Boy, what? Just eyeballing a conspiracy? Yep. Yep. And it's definitely conspiracy worthy. Get something new going. Uh-oh. My stuff's getting finicky. These Apple computer 4 ports are used so much that they're getting junky. Pilot Ryan says you got the rock and roll. I saw you got that, man. What do you think about it? It is like the one. Well, I like the Stampede Traxxas. That was the first Traxxas I had, was a Stampede. And then I got the low CSCTE. I got and then I think I got an X-Max, the first one, right when it came out. But they then back ordered them or put them on pause. So when mine actually arrived, it was after they fixed the ESC fire problem. And then mine finally delivered, and it was awesome. I ran it all the time. It was my favorite RC forever. And then I got the DBXLE, and I was kind of unsure of it. And then over time, it actually became my favorite. But it wasn't. It was totally different experience than the X-Max. But the other problem is that it was 8S. The X-Max was 6S. But there was just something about the way it drove. I loved it. Anyway, I'm kind of itching. I've never driven an 8S X-Max yet, and I just am curious what the power is like. A very nice try, JMRCs. He says, so what low-C monster truck do you have now? I don't have one, but I have one on the way. Yep, I do. I have a low-C monster truck on the way. But it's a custom build by Bari Musauer that uses low-C parts. It is not made by low-C. I was going to try and bait you guys on there for a minute at least. At least had to have a minute of bait. Pilot Ryan Media says it's a beast. That's kind of what I think it'd be like. And I'm looking at that backyard track and thinking it'd be awesome out there. I have the Max, and I wasn't impressed by the Max as much as I hoped I would be. So, with the wide kit, it's better. It just feels small. There was something that was so right about the X-Max, and then bringing that down small scale just didn't feel right. But for people that it's their first car, I mean, that's still a way step above my Stampede, which is my first car. And to get a Max would be, like, for most people, totally epic. I have a lot to choose from. And so having used it, having known what I paid for it, and then had to buy the $60 upgrade for the arms, I just kind of was, like, not stoked, you know? So that kind of plays into it a little bit as well. Just trying to look through the chat here. 11 Charlie, what's that? Bacon? Jack H, Losi and Arma are top dog. Earl, your Raminator's taking forever. Yeah, man, they're not coming till August. Man, if I had the money, I'd be so tempted to get another one and do something else with it. Do something crazy. Do more mini crawler videos. That is the next thing on my list, Pickle Jar. So I have a couple things on my list, to-do list. I have another SMT-10 to build. I have a Super Cloudbuster to build. SCX-10-3 to build. I still have to finish building the green rock truck. I have to upgrade the bomber with the... I'm just going to put a brushed motor in it, but I'm going to go to like a 12 or 20 turn or something. I'm going to go faster. And then I have anti-sway bars for that to build. The Reefs RC ones to put on that. And then I've got the little Kyosho Mini Z to unbox and run on that track, which I still need to work on the track more. I've just got a lot of stuff going on. Just need to finish up the second job thing. RC Basher Boy? No, there's never a reason to wait to buy a new RC. Just start saving up again the second you do. No, it'll be a while. Get what you want. And it's totally different than the Ultima. Just go with what your heart's set on. Earl Moorhead, I'll be back at work when I'm finally coming. No time to use it. Man, you're in California. You're not going back to school. What's up, 11 Charlie? Pickle Jar, what's your favorite RC car? Mine is the Raminator. Hands down. Favorite. Most to work on. I mean, you constantly, before you go out, you want to check all your screws because that motor is just rattling. Plus, when you're jumping that 80 pounds, it's just pulling on screws and loosening stuff up, even when you Loctite it. So, you know, every time before I go out, I got to readjust the brakes and all that, but it's totally worth it. But I can't wait to get my Bari build. Sounds like he's getting the chassis, was just cut and is being sent to him. Should be arriving. Then the only thing that I'm going to be waiting for are the small Spectrum 5th scale servos, because he's doing something a little different with this build, which is going to be exciting to talk about. So when it's happening, but that's the Losi. Just to make sure that you guys are clear, I don't have a Losi solid axle monster truck coming to me. Although they said there's one coming, I don't have one coming. But if they do have one, I will buy one for sure. I have a custom-made Bari build that uses Losi parts. Oh, Earl says he'll be filming soon. Okay. He'll be on set. What do you do on set? Which department do you run in, Earl? Are you a grip? An electric? A PA? First AC? I'm curious. What's going on, RC Element? Jack H, if you can find what you're looking for, buy it up. That's the truth, man. I really want an infraction. That was the other car I had that was worth something, and I sold it. Now I want it back, and I can't get it. So, Earl, you work with the Teamsters, so you work with the unions? RC Basher Boy doesn't buy that. That's the truth. Very cool. The pickle jar. What mini crawler would you recommend? I really like the axial ones. I haven't tried the Kyosho one yet. I've heard mixed reviews. Some people love it. Some people dislike it. The battery setup and all that. Controller's definitely better. They say that the gears in the Kyosho work better. The weighting's weird with the batteries. So you gotta, I mean, it really comes down to what you want. So yeah. Mr. Boodum Kane says all he wants is for Losi to re-release, make replacement parts for the WRC Mini. So RC Element has a X-Max as well. Xavier's in here. What's going on, man? We should do like a show of hands. Who has an X-Max? Hands up. Earl says I build the picture cars. That's cool. Pickle jar. The Mini Z crawler is kind of expensive. Yeah. You know, I have so I have the Charisma one as well, but I tell you what, I really like the Deadbolt. Straight up. So I thought I'd love the Jeep one, but it turns out I've just really like the shape of the Deadbolt, all of the look of it, the green. So the color option, I dig it. And I like the trucks as well, but still my favorite, I think, of them all has turned out to be the Deadbolt, which I didn't think that would be the case. RC Element says he loves his X-Max. So, and when I mean the Deadbolt, I mean the micro one, the mini one. I do also want a Deadbolt 1/10 scale. I think they look cool now. I'm kind of sold on that look. Earl, I did do Fast and Furious 4, 5, and Monk and Chuck. Oh, Chuck was awesome. And Redline and Transformers. That's cool, dude. Pretty good list of movies and shows. Bars and Tones RC. We've done the live premieres for most of those set up on Hollywood. That's awesome. I just make short documentaries. It's nice. I go out, small crew, come back, edit it in my house. Good to go. Okay, cool. Broadcasting engineer. That's awesome. Earl, I have a better gig. Yeah, it's all right. I like small crews. You know, I tried the movie thing and it wasn't my deal. I went out to a couple premieres and stuff in Hollywood and wasn't my vibe. I'm a little bit more laid back. I like things to end and be on to the next thing pretty quickly. So, best budget RC basher. You know, the Mad Van is pretty awesome at under $300, $220 I think it is. It's a pretty tough price to beat. From there, you're looking at probably, if you're willing to spend $300, you'd be looking at like the Team Associated MT10, which is pretty awesome, and the Arma Granite or Arma Sentin or Arma Typhon. Any of those, the 3S lineup, are pretty solid trucks. The shocks leak, but they do a lot for $300. They're pretty impressive. But honestly, the MT10 for $320 The shocks don't leak. And it's pretty comparable to a Granite, I'd say, in a lot of ways, as far as the crazy fun factor. 50 miles an hour, wicked, speed, crazy in the air, pretty tough. Oh, that's cool. Bars and Tones does baseball, hockey, football. That's awesome. I would enjoy that. Although I like doing a lot of the filming side of things too, like the creative. So I don't know if do you do the actual camera stuff? If you're an engineer, you'd be more in the trailers, making it all come together with all the boards and all that. But I like the creative filmmaking side of what I do, producer wise, going out is pretty enjoyable. Pilot Ryan is right. Typhon will teach you how to fly and control with throttle and brake, which is what I like also about it's more expensive, but the Low C Tenacity DB Pro. Same kind of idea as, say, like a Typhon would be. And so I just got myself the Typhon 6S, and I love it. That's a good deal, Earl. Very cool. Yeah, my work stuff is, I'll be on the road for a couple weeks, and then just straight, and then home for, a month and a half, 2 months, something like that. Then gone for a couple weeks. So it's kind of is what it is. If you want to get out there and do the creative side of filming, getting stories, meeting people, telling their story, following them around, living life with them, which is really fun, then, you've got to go and be gone in doing the work. Because filming is really my favorite part of it, even more than the editing and the pulling it all together. But I like that because it means I do get to be home and get to do my RCs and get to see my family and all that. So there's I'm lucky that it's the way that it's set up. I do like what I'm doing a lot. And I've been, blessed to do it for the past 12 years. It's been awesome. And most of what I do is international. So that's, for some people that's a perk. For some people it's not. For me now, it is what it is. And more than anything, I like meeting the people, no matter where you go. So I've learned that the whole travel thing isn't cool for me. Like if I just traveled to travel, I don't think I'd enjoy it, especially with the experiences that I've had. So like when I go to Kenya, we go and we work with the Maasai people, and we're with them, ingrained with them. It's not like a tourist experience that most people would have. We just roll up in your van, you jump out, you buy their goods or whatever, and then you go on the safari. Like we're literally in with them. They take us and show us. I was with one that was trying to help me find live lions, which looking back is a bad idea to go wandering off with somebody who you really can't communicate with, who's just kind of pointing and saying, lion's den. And then you realize he takes you right to where it is. And you're like, well, what if there was one in there? Then what? Now what do we do? So, yeah, it's been some of those situations where you look back and you're like, man, did I get lucky when we chased away wild elephants with some local 15, 16-year-old boys. Because the elephants are scarier to them than the lions, honestly. You have a elephant trample you, game over, man. All right, Justin O'Neill says, when you go out on the road, do you bring an RC with you? I usually bring a drone. So now there's been varying drone usage. So that's partly when I was first getting into it too. We got the very first Phantoms. We had to figure out, we were buying just, man, it wasn't set up like it is now. Like they didn't come with gimbals, and you had to like rig up mounting for them for the very first one to have a GoPro. But then you're just flying line of sight and pointing it at things because you didn't really have a good feedback to view what you're getting. So you're just hoping you're getting stuff. And luckily the GoPro was wide enough that you did. But then it was really shaky. So then we were finding ways to rig up and make gimbals with stuff we were ordering from China way back when, to make it work. And there were no directions, and you're trying to figure out how to plug it into the boards and all that. And it wasn't like it is today. That one is sitting at the bottom of Lake Titicaca in Peru, which I think is the tallest or the highest lake in the world. It's massive. It's like over a mile elevation in the mountains. Anyway, crazy. And we're flying it back, and it got some kind of weird interference thing. Those first ones were just flyaway prone in general. And we just had all this beautiful footage on the GoPro. I'm bringing it back to the guy. We're on this whatever the boat is. So Lake Titicaca, there's these people that make islands out of reeds. They literally take the reeds and the roots, they tie them together, and they make these islands that float. And those are tied together. And they take reeds and they make boats out of them. So they take a bunch of 2-liter bottles. So they make like a half a canoe out of reeds. They fill them with screwed on lid 2 liters. They close it up. That makes it buoyant. They do that on both sides, like catamaran style. Then it's a double decker. So we're up on the top of this thing, and I'm flying it back. And the guy's reaching for it. It's like 6 feet off of the deck of this boat, and it goes the opposite way at full speed. And I'm bringing it in like slowly, full speed at an angle down straight into the water, and just watch it and like, jaws dropping and like, oh my gosh. And my, oh man, the butterflies in my stomach. And at that point I'm debating, do I jump in and try and get it? But it was so cold. They just told us how deep it was, which was like 75 feet deep. And it was super cold. Anyway, we did not jump in and get it. So I took my deadbolt with me to the UK in January. I took one of the little micro Spectrum. No. Yeah, Spectrum. The little drones that they make, the little tiny whoops things. So I took a tiny whoop with me. Who makes that? Is it Spectrum? No. Blade Inductrix. It was my Spectrum controller and the Fat Sharks. I took all that with me down to Guatemala and flew FPV through the hotels and the bells, cool arches and stuff there. So yeah, I've taken some RCs, not like you'd think. Then took one. Some of the more local stuff, yeah. Some crazy stuff, man. I almost lost another drone in Lake Titicaca, a Mavic actually. Trying to get that shot again, but this time we were on a different boat. It was going fast, and the proximity sensor went off when it was taken off, and the boat's still moving, and then the railing's coming. Oh man, it was bad news. But yeah, that was pretty wild. All right, Earl, we'll see you, man. Sorry about the bad chat. It's kind of like the bad internet I had going into the start of this. But yeah, so that was one, man, in the middle of Mali. I could tell you guys, there's so many stories. In the middle of Mali, we were with this translator who was just not great. He was like our fixer, and he's supposed to rent us a car, but instead we're driving around in like this 1980s Mercedes or BMW. I have to look at the pictures. There's one of them. It was a dumpy old car. And we're going everywhere in that thing. And we always wanted to change money, but it's like, oh, well, we can't. There's better prices to change it. And here, just go to my house. We'll change it with my dad or my sister. So there's always a reason to go back to his house, which always set us off time because then they want to give you breakfast. All this stuff that's like, no, we're not doing this anymore. Like, you're going to either rent my car that I want, or I'm going to find the rental place and rent it myself, and your job is done. I'll get a different fixer. And It was a nightmare trip. So we finally get one, and we're going off to this place, and we're heading up to like where were we going? Timbuktu area in Mali. This is back when the insurgents were just coming in, and they had all of our U.S. weapons that we used in Libya, and so now they're using that to overthrow parts of Mali. They got into like rebel control. Anyway, we're there. We break down. It's like pitch black on the side of some road in the middle of nowhere, Mali, and all of this expensive equipment. And I mean, they're kidnapping people like crazy, especially expats. And I'm, 6'2", stand out like a sore thumb. And, oh man. Craziness. All right, so let's back to the RC stuff. RC Element. How do I like the Rugged 5, DX5 Rugged? I love that thing. I really do. You got to make sure you get one that has the good back, and they should all have it now. In the beginning, there was some that had that really finicky, or actually just didn't work. Like the up didn't work, or some feature didn't work on that little touchpad. But when you get one that works, it's awesome, and I love it. And yeah, I'm binding most of my stuff to it now. Yep. So can I have a shout out for my YouTube channel at the Pickle Jar? That's about as much as you're gonna get because I don't know what's on there. I cannot recommend or not recommend. People have to make their decision, but go check it out and see what you think. Ours at Bars and Tone says one of the craziest nights I had was with an audio mixer and 2 replay operators in Vegas. Long story short, our rental car ended up in a hotel pool in Vegas. Oh man. Wait. Were you filming, what was that movie? Bachelor party movie. What was that called? Somebody help me. Timbuktu. Yeah, we tried to get to Timbuktu, Green Frog, but the only way we could get there, we had media passes. We had to hire a helicopter, and it was super sketchy. And we were trying to make it work, and it didn't end up working out. But we ended up going pretty far north where the French armies were there working. And I remember we had to cross a bridge. We had to get back across the bridge by night because they closed them down at night so people wouldn't blow them up or rig them so that when you drove over, they would blow up. So bridges closed at sundown, and man, we did not make it one night, and we were going to be on the wrong side of the bridge. Anyway, so many stories. And that was another reason I was mad at that translator, because I kept saying we needed to go. I can imagine Barzatone. Oh man. Mr. Boodum Kane, while you're at it, check me out too. It's all 1/5 scale. All right. I can, that has my interest. I'm going to pull it up now. So that I have it later, since it won't let me do the whole click on a link. All right, yeah, so a bunch of stuff on here, 5th scale. Very awesome. Subbing. Let's see what the pickle jar is. So it's gaming channel, painting and gaming. I don't think I'm on the right channel. All right, guys. Well, it's 1:43. We've been going now for 2.5 hours. Finally got it working. And, yeah, glad we did. Hopefully there's going to be some more crazy news coming up, or at least some. Right now, like I said, mainly bodies is what we're seeing, and those tires that we peeped on the J Concepts page, which definitely have my interest. Other than that, and other than the thing that I have sitting over at my table over there that I can't talk about, conspiracy there, we've already said. I don't know what else there is to talk about. So we'll get back to some of the different things with the interviews. I've got a few people that I've got emails out to that I'm trying to line things up with. And I'm a little bit scared, though, because of the last two crashing on me. So, and then tonight with the internet thing, that shouldn't be a problem going forward with the new stuff that I bought. But you never know with Cox Cable. There's always potential for problems. So, yeah. Green Frog Man, Kagan, thanks for jumping in. Bars and Tone RC killing you guys. Yeah, man. I think it's cool. I think it's cool. I think you guys are going to like it. I know several people who are going to like it a lot. But I think you guys are going to like it too. But that could just be my tiredness talking. But it's not. You guys are going to like it. If and when. And I can't talk about it. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. 31 people still here at 1:45. Hopefully you guys are West Coasters, because that's a long, late night for many people. So he wants a sneak peek. We can give you a little sneak peek. Ready? There's part of it right there. Can you see that? It's kind of out of focus. Oh, maybe next time it'll be a little bit more in focus. All right. Javier, thank you, man. Oh, 6:45 in the UK. Sheesh. Green Frog, technical difficulties inevitable. Yeah, it's going to happen with the live stuff. It's really hard to... It's really hard to know what's going to happen. We just got to work the kinks out. And like I said, I've been using this setup for so many things. It's just crazy that on mine, the last 2 weeks, it froze up my computer, which it's never done. So, yeah. Anyway. Alrighty, guys. We will catch you tomorrow night, maybe at the tank. If not, somewhere else. COVID and coffee in the mornings. Usually most days of the week, he's got them going at RC Guy Garage. Thursday night with the Tank RC. Friday, Steve OD. Monday, we've got the 11 Charlie RC. And then we're back again to RC Conspiracies. So, and then smattered throughout there, the True Boys guys, man. They've got their cool show that they've got the interviews lined up for. One of them was tonight. And then I think it varies between Friday and Sunday or whatever other night they do. I don't know the exact. They go live quite a bit. So I haven't quite figured out their schedule other than Tuesday night yet. But I jump in there a lot. So hopefully we'll see you guys in there soon as well. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.